Well, I did promise you a twist at the beginning of the show. I didn't. Well, guess what? We don't talk about this sport as much as we should, and it's here on South African shores. Baseball, one of the so-called minor sports in South Africa. The code has been growing in leaps and bounds over the past few years in the country. Baseball was also part of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics in Japan. To tell us more about the growth of the sport and more, Baseball South Africa President Marc Moreau, who's joining us via Zoom from Cape Town. Welcome, Marc. Welcome to Sports Live. Great to have you. Baseball.
Thank you very much for having me.
I mean, the Federation, you've been awarded now rights to host the Under-15 World Cup Africa qualifier and the Under-23 World Cup Africa qualifier. That's an exciting news to be hosting two events.
Yeah, it is. World Baseball Africa Division have a bid process in place since last year, and we were fortunate enough to be awarded the hosting of the U15 and the U23 World Cup Africa qualifiers. Unfortunately, the U15 tournament, which was supposed to take place between the 10th and the 17th of January, was cancelled due to teams not registering for the tournament. So unfortunately, that one's been cancelled, and the U23 tournament will now take place between the 22nd and the 25th of February in Boksburg, Gauteng.
Now, this means that South Africa has qualified, right? And if so, did the cancellation
Correct, yes.
affect preparations for our team?
In a way, yes, because it would have been nice for our U15 team to compete on an international level, because it's not very often that we do participate on a junior or a senior level, because we're a little bit remote in the world of baseball. And as a result of that, we only play every 2 years when there are World Cups. So it does limit our exposure and the participation of our juniors on an international level. But we have an elite training squads in place, and they will be obviously preparing now, till July, when the World Cup actually takes place.
So when are the Under-23 World Cup qualifiers going to be held, and where?
Yeah, it's going to be held in Boksburg Cardinals Baseball Club in Gauteng, and it's going to be held between the 22nd and the 25th of February. The teams arrive 1 or 2 days earlier to have a practice day, etc., and then that's a round robin, and then a final on the 25th. So,
Baseball 5, right? This is a new discipline
Yes.
within the baseball activity. Explain to us what is Baseball 5?
Yeah, I think there's a trend in world sports nowadays to have shorter forms of all sports facilities, and basically, Baseball 5 is a gender equal sport. It's one of the very few sports in the world that gender equal. So we play 2 women, 2 men, and the 5th player can be either or. It's played on an 18-square diamond. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the world. South Africa, we've participated in the World Cup since 2 years ago. We are ranked number 6 in the world, so we're very, very high up in the rankings in the world of Baseball 5. It's also good to know that Baseball 5 has been admitted as an Olympic sport for the Youth Olympics in Dakar in 2026. So it's developing fast. It's very, very ideal for rural communities, because you don't need much equipment, and you need a very small space. So it's ideal to develop the game of baseball, and very enjoyable for juniors as well as seniors.
Go Team South Africa. Now, we didn't qualify for the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. What measures or steps are we taking to ensure that we are part of the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028?
Yes, we have a project called Baseball 2028. Obviously, the whole goal is to try and qualify there. We've got a lot of work to do. I think, like most minor sports, I think funding is one of our biggest challenges to qualify. Our senior team, unfortunately, they only play every 4 years when there is a World Cup. So they get very, very little exposure. But, we have, if you think of 2028 for the Olympics, we've got basically 5 years to prepare. And we have, the under 18s, under 23s that will be obviously in their prime at that time. So we've got a big elite squad that we're basically preparing at the moment, and hopingly we'll find some sponsors that we can obviously participate in some European tournaments to prepare ourselves better for, for qualifying for the Olympic Games. We certainly have the capabilities of participating and of actually being really, really, very, very competitive at that level. We just need more exposure.
Which begs my next question. How soon do you see Major League Baseball as such in South Africa being profitable?
That's a difficult one because, like most sports, I think we've all tried to, I think our first step would be to try and have a franchise system in South Africa of 6 to 8 teams and make it, sustainable, first of all, because the only way you can actually really get, commitment from players and coaches if, they are rewarded. And so our task as a federation is very difficult in these economic times as well. So I think it's a big challenge, but we are there, and we keep on engaging with potential sponsors. We've launched a lot of social media platforms to expose our game more to the South African public and South African corporate world. So hopefully somebody will come on board and look at us and use us as a platform.
And there's a spotlight on Gift Ngwephe, arguably one of the best
Yes.
players ever to come out of South Africa. This is exciting. I mean, tell us more.
Gift obviously has played Major League Baseball. He's in Australia at the moment, doing more coaching than playing, I believe. We also have about 23 youngsters in US colleges playing baseball at the moment. We also have another South African, playing in Major League Baseball as well. South Africans are getting around the world and, exposing themselves and exposing, South African baseball. And hopingly we can also, try and attract, international teams to visit our shore so that we can play more international games. I think the last time we played an international game in South Africa was against France 6 years ago. And the time before that was in the 1990s. So we don't get, our South African public don't get exposed to international baseball that often.
Well, I guess what? Baseball better make way for Mzansi, or Mzansi better make way for baseball. Either way, it sounds fantastic. Marc Moreau, great chatting to you here on Sports Live. And we look forward to you having us give us more on the developments of SA Baseball and its progress.
Thank you very much.